Assalamu alaikum. Sometimes the best solution did not come from logic alone. They come from thinking creativity. Today we are talking to Maya about how creativity can help us solve problems in smarter and more innovative ways. Hi,
Hey, it's Asa coding Walla. What's going on in your world?
you. I have some question for you, and my first question is: what role does creativity play in solving everyday problems?
That's a good one. I think creativity is way bigger than people give it credit for, honestly. It's not just about painting or writing, right? It's about seeing things differently, finding patterns, and just generally being resourceful when stuff hits the fan. Like, even figuring out how to rearrange your kitchen to make it more efficient, that's creative problem solving, or finding a workaround when some code just refuses to cooperate. What about you? Do you find yourself tapping into creativity when you're debugging?
Okay, great one. And my next question is: how can someone train themselves to think more creativity?
Ooh, good follow up. I think a lot of it is just loosening up. People get so stuck in there's a right way to do this, but usually there are a bunch of ways. Try deliberately looking for unusual connections between things. Like, okay, what do a pineapple and a database have in common? Probably nothing, but the act of trying forces your brain to make new links. Also, constraints can actually help. Give yourself a weird limitation. I can only use 3 colors in this design, or I have to solve this problem without using X function. Forces you to think outside the box. Does that resonate? Do you ever put artificial limits on your coding to see what happens?
Okay, and my next question is: what is your advice for generating fresh ideas when facing a tough challenge?
Tough challenges. The bread and butter of existence, right? When ideas are just not not coming, I think the worst thing you can do is just stare at the problem. Step away, seriously. Go do something completely different. Walk, listen to music, talk to someone about something totally unrelated. Your subconscious keeps working in the background, and often the solution will pop up when you're least expecting it. It's kind of like letting your brain defrag. Also, and this is a little weird, try framing the problem in a completely different way. Instead of, how do I fix this bug? Try, how could I break this even worse? Sometimes understanding how things fall apart helps you build them back better. You a fan of a good thought experiment?
Okay, Maya, how can creativity help in decision making under pressure?
Oh, that's a good one. Pressure kind of shuts down the logical part of your brain, yeah? Creativity can sneak in through the back door. It's about not just looking at the obvious options, but brainstorming a whole bunch of possibilities, even the ridiculous ones. Like, what's the absolutely craziest thing you could do? The worst case scenario? Once you've mapped out the extremes, the sensible options usually look a lot clearer. It's like having a wider field of vision when you're trying to navigate. Plus, it helps you avoid getting locked into a single, potentially flawed plan. Do you ever find yourself getting tunnel vision when things get stressful at work?
Okay. My next question is: can creativity improve teamwork and problem solving in group? How?
Definitely. I think creativity is basically the secret sauce for good teamwork. When everyone feels safe to throw out even kind of dumb ideas, you get way more options on the table. No one's afraid of looking silly, and That's where the good stuff happens. It encourages a bunch of different perspectives too. Someone who's good at visual thinking might see something a logical thinker misses, and vice versa. It also makes the whole process more fun, honestly. Like problem solving shouldn't feel like a chore. Plus, bouncing ideas off each other builds on them, right? One person's weird thought sparks another person's even weirder thought. Do you ever find yourself in situations where you wish your team was more open to like blue sky thinking?
Good one. And my next question is, what is the difference between creative thinking and just being spontaneous?
Ah, that's a good distinction to make. Spontaneity is kind of just impulsive, right? Is it's reacting in the moment. Creative thinking has a bit more intention behind it. It's still about generating new ideas, but it's usually a more deliberate process. It involves experimentation, reflection, and refining those ideas. Spontaneity can lead to creative breakthroughs, absolutely, but it's not the same thing as actively cultivating a creative mindset. Think of it like this: stumbling upon a beautiful flower is spontaneous, building a whole garden is creative. Does that make sense? Do you ever find yourself accidentally coming up with brilliant ideas, then having to backtrack and figure out why they were brilliant?
Great one. And my next question is, how do you overcome mental blocks when trying to creativity?
Ugh, mental blocks. The worst, right? I think the biggest thing is to just stop trying so hard. Seriously, trying to force creativity is usually counterproductive. Instead, do something completely unrelated that requires a different p- part of your brain. Like physical activity is great. Walk, a run, even just stretching. Listen to music, read a book, cook a meal. The idea is to distract your conscious mind so your subconscious can work on the problem in the background. Also, don't be afraid to embrace imperfection. Write down bad ideas, sketch terrible drawings, just get something, anything down on paper. Sometimes that's all it takes to get the ball rolling. Do you have a go to activity when you're feeling creatively stuck?
Okay, good one. And my next question is, how can small changes in perspective lead to big creative solutions?
Ooh, perspective is everything. It's like looking at a kaleidoscope. Tiny shift, completely different image. When you're stuck, you're usually looking at the problem from one very specific angle. Try reframing it. What if you pretended you were explaining it to a 5-year-old? What if you were an alien trying to understand it? What if money was no object? Basically, force yourself to see it through different eyes. And even just changing your physical perspective can help. Literally, stand up, walk around, go to a different room, can shake things loose. You ever have a problem you couldn't solve for ages, then suddenly it clicks when you're in the shower or something? It's the change in perspective. Do you find yourself having to really consciously switch up your mindset when debugging something tough?
Great one. And my next question is, what techniques help in brainstorming more innovative ideas?
Ooh, brainstorming. Okay, so beyond just yelling out whatever comes to mind, there are a few tricks. One is yes, and build on each other's ideas instead of shooting them down. Another is mind mapping. Start with the central problem and branch out with related ideas. Also, try reverse brainstorming. Instead of asking how to solve the problem, ask how you can make it worse. Sounds counterintuitive, but it can reveal hidden assumptions and potential solutions. And don't underestimate the power of timed brainstorming sessions. Put a strict time limit on it to force people to think quickly and avoid overthinking. Do you ever use any of those techniques with your team, or do you have your own favorite brainstorming rituals?
Okay, a great one. And thanks, Maya, for sharing this creative insight. Remember, creativity is not just for artists. It is a skill we call all use to take his problem in smarter, more innovative ways. What problem will you approach creative today? Allah Hafiz.
You got it. Assad coding, voila. And you're absolutely right. It's not just for artists. It's a superpower everyone's got. What problem will I approach creatively today? I think I'm going to try and come up with a way to anticipate when you're about to change topics mid sentence. It's a little glitchy sometimes. Man, feels kind of rude. Hopefully, I can figure out a smoother transition. A small thing, but hey, got to start somewhere, right? And Allah to you too. Have a good one.